Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment. Today is Friday, June 23rd, and the Yankees were trying to turn the page from a tough loss on Thursday night. They took on the Texas Rangers in the Bronx. Would the story be any different? My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, before we get to the recap, I wanted to say thanks to everybody who contributed to my dog Cece's recovery fund last night. My wife was extremely grateful and surprised this morning when I told her about it. Pete, my dog tore both ACLs chasing a squirrel.
My God.
That's what I get for hiring Eric Cressy as the dog trainer.
Yes.
I've been saving that joke since yesterday. I thought of it after I went off, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't use it.
I'm sure you thought about that after everything was okay, and you were like, all right, I know what's wrong with him. Okay.
She's doing a little bit better today.
Good.
She's on pain meds, and we think she's going to make a full recovery.
Great.
Yep. So another low-scoring game. Are the Yankees just lousy?
Yes. At this point, come on, Derek, look, man, me and you have watched a lot of baseball. We do this really for a living. This is not a good team. I mean, there's really no ways around this at this point. And I think that's the reason why fans are so upset, right? Because they're not that good of a team. And it's like they refuse to make any changes to the current team.
I'm looking at this box score, and I'm looking at the differences between the two teams on the batting average side.
Yeah.
And I know batting average doesn't matter, and all of us old school folks who believe in it and believe it's important are just out of touch.
Yep.
But look at this. The Rangers, 271, 356, 274, 261. Every one of these guys is so much better than what the Yankees are running out there. 227, he should be a Yankee. 266, 276. Duran was a Yankee. 314 with an 882 OPS. That pisses me off. And Tavares, 298. Yankees, 227, 245, 249, 183. What are we doing? 273, 228, 244. McKinney, we'll talk about him. 319. I think he might be a ball player. We had that discussion about whether the Yankees needed more ball players. I think McKinney might be a ball player. Donaldson, 120. Donaldson should frickin' quit. Donaldson should retire.
It's funny. Exactly what you just did. I actually started out Game Season Live doing the same exact thing. I read off the averages and OPSs, and I just compared it. But you're right, man. I mean, yeah, but I guess my other, and I think we're going to get there, so I don't want to jump ahead too far. But I do want to talk about that moment of that game.
Yeah.
Right there. But the Yankees offense is just, it's just so, it's horrible, man. There's really no way to get around it here. Rizzo looks like he's coming to life a little bit, which is good. He's turning that corner, as Aaron Boone loves to say.
Yeah.
And McKinney's been really good in IKF. Should be really, playing third base at this point. If Peraza is not going to come up, got to get IKF in there more. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
The fact that they haven't called up Peraza when nobody can hit is just mind-blowing to me. Yeah. And IKF, look, I got to give respect to IKF. He's been a nice little bench piece tonight. You got to be standing under that ball in center field tonight. And I was saying, I immediately tweeted this and I was shouting it. If only we had the best center fielder in the league. And apparently he was getting the night off. Oh, but he played late in the game. Yeah. This Aaron Boone is awful. Like, he's the worst manager of my entire life since Stump Merrill.
Oh, 100% easy. Not even close. There's no. I say that all the time. People are like, oh, but come on, he has the most winning record of all time, and blah blah blah. He's a horrible manager, man. The Yankees. You're right there. Look, okay, we're giving a guy a day off. There's a play in center field that should have been made, and if it was made, they wouldn't have scored. And the best center fielder in baseball is on the bench when he misses a lot of time as it is, and they just 3 days. Time to rest him. Time to give him another break.
Unbelievable. I think that play is going to come up. I saw some people ripping Anthony Volpe on that play. I don't think that's Volpe's ball. I mean, that's a routine fly ball. Absolutely routine fly ball.
100%.
And if you look at the angle, Volpe was probably 15, 20 feet away from it when it landed. I mean, we can't look at where this landed. I'm going to pause this when it lands. bam.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to go to center field, literally to center field to make that catch. Look how much he had to run still. It's no way. It's not Volpe's
Ridiculous.
ball.
Ridiculous. I don't know why I can't pause it, but anyway. Clark Schmidt, though, not bad tonight.
No.
I think he's put it together a little bit. When the season began, we just dreaded watching him pitch, but his ERA now is 4.32. This was a damn good offense that he pitched against. I think he's cleaned up his mechanics a little bit. He's throwing more strikes. What do you think? What are you thinking about Clark Schmidt? Has he turned the corner?
Yeah, I mean, he looks good. His his last 8 outings or something, he's been very, very good. So, keep it rolling with him. And as I said during this game, the pitching is not the problem. The Yankees got to figure out what, and I hear people a lot of times say, "Oh, Pete, you got to blow the whole thing up. You got to make a whole change." I'm like, well, hold on a second. Let's really think about this. The biggest change the Yankees got to figure out is their offense. The pitching's been fine. They got to figure out the offense somehow. And that's their biggest problem. And one of the biggest problems they have is they refuse to make changes upon the offense. They just every night keep running it out there. They still think Josh Donaldson was the guy who won the MVP. Yeah, they still think it's there.
Horrendous. And the fact that they didn't use him in the first pinch hitting opportunity they had tonight tells you that, it tells you how they really feel despite what they're saying. I don't really think that they think he's, MVP Donaldson, or else they would have used him there. I think they know what we all know, which is that he's washed up, he's finished, but they're not admitting to, a bad roster construction. That was one of the worst trades of all time. Easily one of the worst trades. Another bad one, it's looking like. And look, this guy has been good in the playoffs, but Giancarlo Stanton, I can't see how he can finish his Yankees contract.
No.
This guy's legs are gone. You can see it when he swings. He's got no foundation whatsoever. And that's where
it's like he's on ice.
Yeah, that's where
he's on ice when he swings.
Right. He's one of those guys who always kind of started that's why he bounces. He's getting that weight in the heels. He's getting everything ready to go. And then he strikes, he uses his legs to kind of propel like an axe motion. And, he's kind of like a lumberjack up there, but his legs are gone. They're spaghetti noodles. I think he's done. I think he might be done.
Yeah, I'm overly concerned about Big G, no doubt about it. I mean, look, the knees are shot, and how much can you do at this point with no knees at all? They got him DHing. He looked at right field. He looked terrible yesterday. I mean, he obviously can't play the outfield anymore. And then just to try to keep him healthy, you got to do whatever you can with the guy. But on top of that, it's not even about that anymore. It's just about we don't even get production at this point. I mean, there's not. It doesn't feel like there's that threat there anymore. We keep hearing, oh, he'll get hot. He'll go on this major tear for a month and a half. I don't know if it's there anymore. I just don't know if it's there.
I still had the Mariners up there. It's the Rangers tonight. A little typo on the screen there. I tell you what, man, a game like this, it fries my circuits, man, because I spend the whole time screaming at the TV, blood boiling, my eyeballs are squeezing. I wish I could just get Aaron Boone on the phone and say, what the hell are you doing? And by the way, let's conference in Brian Cashman. What the hell is going on up there? You don't know what the hell you're doing.
I mean, that's what any of us would do right now. I mean, it's just mind boggling. And then you got the owner coming out going, I don't know what these guys are mad for.
Yeah.
Why are Yankee fans upset? And that's why I get so mad at the opportunities some people get. Cause I'm like, that was the easiest route to defend the fan base.
Yeah.
And be like, well, how? Wait a second here. You guys are very, very far out the division, and it's July 19th or whatever the hell it was. You think fans should be okay with that? I mean, it's so simple than just letting it go. But they got a major offensive problem, and it's as clear cut as day as you get. And the Yankees, again, are sitting there just telling us everything is fine. A Judge is going to come back, and everything's going to be a merry-go-round, and it's not at all going to happen that way.
This is a tweet from 14 years ago on this day. Time to fire Joe Girardi. So maybe this is all going to be a moot point in a few months or in 14 years. I don't think so. But tomorrow, as Frankie pointed out, is the anniversary of when Francisco Cervelli hit that big home run. The Yankees need some kind of spark. Now, Judge is he's taking cuts in the pool and all that stuff, but this team is entirely reliant on Judge. Entirely reliant. I just can't imagine putting all of your eggs in one basket like this. I will say a couple of positives. Tommy Kahnle looks terrific.
He looks awesome.
I think he's our new closer. What do you think?
Could be. I mean, no doubt about it. And look, I even said it when Clay Holmes came in. I was like, well, this is the right call. And this is why I feel like you do need somebody else as the closer. Because Clay Holmes is important in those roles. Yes, he gave up the run, but he has like an 0.40 ERA in his last like 20 appearances. He's been phenomenal, but I love him in that role. I don't want him closing games. If Tommy Kahnle's that guy, run with it. He's been amazing. He looks great. So why not? Why not try it out? Yankees pitching hasn't been the issue. Try it out.
What's your concern level with Michael King?
Oh, it's up there. I mean, the crazy thing is, Adolis Garcia hits that home run on a terrible pitch. It's a hanger. But he threw about 3 more that inning that he got away with.
Yeah.
So Mitch Garver just missed a home run that he just pulled too foul quickly. But yeah, I think everybody should be concerned about Michael King right now.
Appreciate the dono there from Mr. Tommy C. Says, congrats from Stanton and Donaldson. They get the most consistent players award. Maybe consistently bad. I remember there was this great quote from Don Mattingly, one of the great baseball quotes of all time, Pete. So Ricky Henderson used to show up late to spring training every year, like 2-3 years in a row he was late. And they asked Don Mattingly about this. And he said, well, at least he's consistent. That's what you want from a player. Consistency. Love it. I miss Donnie
baseball, man.
I wish Donnie was our
Who doesn't?
coach, man.
Who doesn't at this point?
The Ace
I wish he was our manager. I'll take him that too.
Yeah. The Ace Avenue says Boone can't manage this team. The experiment is over. Look, I don't know what you're going to do. Like, you've pretty much got to clean house in the entire organization. I posted this like a week ago, and it kind of went viral, but to a degree. The Yankees need to get rid of everybody. Like, all their coaches, all of their scouts, their medical staff, their GM. Hal should sell the team, honestly. And just build from the ground up. Like, get a hedge fund in here to get like the best and the brightest from around baseball and rebuild the Yankees into what they are, because this is becoming a joke.
No, it was a great tweet. I remember I saw it on there, and it did very well on a tweet, and it did very well because it's true, and it's the way Yankee fans feel, is that just things need to change here, man. Things desperately need to change. I mean, again, I always say it, man. The Yankees brass should just shut up. They shouldn't even talk. Until they start making changes, they really just should be quiet, because they just make it worse for themselves all the time. It's like they want to come out and go, hey, just say the same thing and the fans will believe it. Yeah. At this point, you're losing so many people that just be quiet at this point. Don't even talk. Just forget about it.
Yankees 286 says, I might sound like a bad Yankees fan. I guess he omitted that word, but I don't care. If we miss the playoffs, I won't be mad, because then there could be major change. The Yankees missed the playoffs in 2014, I think.
Yep.
In 2015, they were gone after one game. I think they missed in 2016. There was not major changes. The only major change that you got in 2016 was that you got the arrival of Aaron Judge, and kind of accelerated the window, and Gary Sanchez had a great year. I don't see any fresh new guys coming. I mean, Dominguez is hitting 198 in the minor leagues right now. We have to start being concerned about him, whether or not he's going to be able to progress, to get to the major leagues in the next year or two.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still young enough where you can't call him a bust yet, because he's at the age where a lot of guys are juniors in college.
Right.
But he's already at AA. But he's not hitting AA. At some point you have to be concerned.
No, facts. And just to touch again on that comment about if the Yankees fall out of things, they miss the playoffs. I just got to ask a simple question, because I brought this up in a video after I heard Hal Steinbrenner's comments on the Michael Kay show. And he said, hey, if this and this happens, there'll be tough questions asked. My simple question was, why would we believe that for? Last postseason, look at what happened in the postseason, all the disarray that happened in the Yankees clubhouse. Clay Holmes being like, I was available. Boone like, no, he wasn't. And they were like, yeah, we told him before the game I was available. Severino was like, go ask the manager. I don't know. Yeah. Harrison Bader had no idea he was leading off. Aaron Boone's like, everybody gets a card. I don't know. I mean, shouldn't there have been questions asked then?
Yeah.
I mean, to think that, okay, if they miss the playoffs now, he's just going to go ahead and get rid of everybody. I don't believe it.
There may have been questions asked. I think that Hal probably did ask questions, but I think the issue is that the answers that he's received are tailored to him by people who know him really well, and they fed him what he wants to hear, and they convinced him, well, let's keep rolling with it. We all like our jobs or whatever. Look, I just don't see any help on the horizon from within the organization. I don't have any faith in Brian Cashman to rebuild this team. I think it was, Boomer and Carton, maybe, I don't know, one of those talking heads said he hasn't earned the right to rebuild this organization, and they're in need of a rebuild. Mr. Potato says the main problem is Hal needs to pull his nuts out of his stomach. Until he does, there's no hope. Let's give that a thoughts on that.
That's a good one. But just speaking of what you said there, that's actually a pretty valid point. Who would trust Brian Cashman right now with some type of rebuild, quote unquote? Who would trust him? You know what I mean? Would you trust him? Would you be like, hey, Brian, we're going to move some things around. We need you to make some creative trades and kind of rebuild this front office. I couldn't trust him doing that. Not at all.
Bernie Madoff says, this team wasn't good enough with Judge in the lineup. Yankees baseball for the past couple of seasons has been old, slow, and boring. Rich Eisen had a great point because someone pointed out when that topic was brought up on his show that the Yankees were great in May. And he brought up a great point from George Steinbrenner from back in the day where he called Dave Winfield Mr. May, essentially saying, I don't care about May. Forget May. Yep. What are you doing for me now? And this team is doing nothing.
It's very true. And I mean, and it's like you said too, I don't know what the answer is, The answer is obviously not what is there now. But again, I'll just keep repeating it. Fact of the matter is, they don't want to change nothing. Why do we expect different results?
Amart says, on the train going home from the game, forgot his headphones, so he'll be thinking about that home run for the next hour. You know what's the worst is like last week when we got beat 15-5 in Boston, and then we had a rain out, so we had a whole day to like soak in it. And then we had a doubleheader and an entire day of getting our asses kicked, and then another day off. I wanted to jump off the frickin' Brooklyn Bridge.
I mean, it's bad out there right now, man. It really is. The Yankees to even be above water still is shocking, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but it's shocking. It really is.
Look at this stat. The Yankees have 0 hits in their last 13 extra inning at bats.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Makes sense.
Does that
make sense?
Awful.
It sucks real bad.
Acers, I don't know how to pronounce that. Heroes says, where the F is Rodon, and get a rise next year. You should have got a rise last year is what you should have done. Yeah. And Rodon is at least on his way back. Everything that we hear is that he legitimately wants to be out there and wants to pitch. But Rodon doesn't solve this team's problem. Correct. We got 6 hits in 10 innings tonight. We got 5 hits yesterday. We got like 3 hits the day before that, and 3 the day before that, and 5 the day before that. Can we get some guys that can get some knocks? Even guys like McKinney, he's going to go back to the bench as soon as, Judge is back. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to play Bowers out there. I get it. He's got more power. They favor power. They look for power. You got to have more guys who can get hits. The infield doesn't get enough hits. Our third base situation is a black hole. If I were the Yankees right now, I would cut Josh Donaldson today and have Peraza in here tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't understand the reason to keep. I really don't. It just makes no damn sense at all. I mean, what is this guy going to provide? And I remember at the beginning of the season when Aaron Boone said, "You're crazy if you don't think he has it in him." And I went live, or I had a video that day, and I said flat out, I said, "Well, then I'm crazy."
Yeah, because
I guarantee you, he is not going to be better. I would guarantee it. So Aaron Boone, again, they think they're smarter than everybody, the Yankees, and you're nuts if you don't believe what we tell you. Most of us aren't. Now, we saw this coming when the trade happened. Right. So here we are.
Ronnie says, Derek's scaring me by saying Stanton may be done. Look, I'm usually
at him.
I'm usually very bullish on Giancarlo. I was bullish on him headed into this season. I understand that he's streaky and he can go on cold streaks for a while and he can look lost for a while. This is different. He looks physically different.
Yes.
His legs are gone. Did you see that fly ball last night? It was a sac fly. He couldn't move 6 feet to make that catch. He moves like one of the goddamn monuments.
Yeah, he's like a mummy.
He's awful.
Yeah, he is his legs are shot. I've been I don't know what you could do with the guy, and this is just something that the Yankees have really just put on themselves, and it keeps getting worse because what do? Instead of building around a Judge and a Stanton with different style of players, they add Donaldsons and this shit to it. It's absolutely insane.
I would argue that getting Stanton in the first place, although I was excited, like when we got him, I went through the roof because I looked at the numbers and I was like, all I remembered was 59 home runs and MVP. Yep. But when I really sat down and started watching, like, I had only seen the highlights like everybody else. When I really sat down and started watching like the type of at-bats he is, the type of player he is, I got concerned that he was like a redundant talent to Judge and not like a complementary player. Like the right move would have been to be patient and sign Bryce Harper, who, by the way, hitting 296, has won. He won an MVP last year with the Phillies, has been absolutely money in the playoffs. I'm going to pull up his stats real quick, just to take a look at what could have been. Sometimes we like to look at the road less traveled here. It's not zooming in for me. Let me hear it. See if I can zoom. I can't zoom. Fuck it. Anyway, since joining the Phillies, he hit 260 with 35 home runs his first year. The next year was the COVID year, 268, but then he really took off. 309 with 42 home runs in 2021 in his prime year. So he was 3 years in by the time, we could have used a big left-handed bat like that in 2021. This team might have done something. Yep. And then 22, he was hurt a little bit, but again, good numbers. And so far this year, he rushed back from Tommy John. Yeah. And the man's playing his ass off. He's a gamer.
Yep. It's more what the Yankees need. They don't have enough of that. And, it goes back to even our conversation again about a guy like Soto. Let me tell you something. I don't know if it's going to happen now. I don't care. When he's a free agent, you better friggin' get him. Yeah. You better get him. I mean, the Yankees need legitimate talent in their lineup badly. And look, if you're going to sit back and just wait and hope that some of these young kids become something, to me, that's the wrong mindset to take when you got the last remaining great prime years of Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, mind you.
Yeah.
The Yankees got to win within the next 2 to 3 years.
You're bringing up a great point. They're going to run out of pitching by the time their offense gets here.
Damn right.
And then we're going to be in the same position. It's like a never-ending cycle. Like 2004, 2003, like with the awesome offense, no pitching for like 5 or 6 years. And you bottom out in 2008. You go ahead and sign Teixeira and CC, and you win the World Series. And then since then, it's been that cycle all over again. Great offense, but no pitching, or great pitching, but no offense. It's incredibly frustrating.
Yep, that's the Yankees right now, man. It's I don't see the friggin' light at the end of the tunnel with this team. I just don't see any good. And a lot of people are just sitting back going, well, there'll be a wild card team. I'm not certain of that.
I want you to comment on this one because I know you're somebody who preaches accountability, and I respect that. No accountability on this team. I mean, we saw what happened with Wander Franco, benched for 2 games.
Yep.
Gleyber Torres constantly making idiot moves, lackadaisical plays in the field, not hustling down the line, and he gets taken out for ice cream after the game. What are your thoughts on this?
It's one of the main things I discuss all the time. Without accountability, you're breeding a group of losers. You got no accountability and you got excuses. All that opens is when you lose, it's never your fault. It's never your fault, so you're not going to make changes because it's not on you. If the Yankees came in tomorrow, I'm telling you guys this right now, I'm not even joking, and Aaron Boone said, I'm going to go out on my own shield. I'm going to hold these guys accountable. They would be a better team with their current roster. Yeah. If he simply just said, if you do not got everybody in the room, guys, look, today's a new day. If you don't perform, I don't care what your salary says. I don't care how long you've been in this league. You will not be in our lineup. If that is said in that clubhouse and they just put the message in, if you don't show up, you will not be playing. I don't care who it is we're putting out there.
Right.
These guys will play over you. That simple. Here forward, it's a competition. And that's it. And you will see change in this club.
Lord Raiden says weak management leads to weak players. Yep. And I 100% agree. Mr. Potato says, get well, doggo. Appreciate that. Look, I think there's definitely a culture problem within the Yankees organization. They're very soft. We've been saying this for years now, since we've been doing these collaborations for probably 2 years now. We've been doing
2
this.
years, yep.
And I think it's a common theme is that, everything about this organization just feels soft. It's just they've become just an organization of panty waists.
And sometimes it's kind of like an easy thing to go to, right? But in this situation, it's as clear as day. There's like no hiding it with this team. You watch it and you'll go, man, I remember when, guys used to get taken out for stuff like that. Like, does that not happen anymore? And it's like, well, here, no. And you even got a group of fans that I go, well, guys, that doesn't happen anymore. And I'm like, Kevin Cash, literally just like made it public. Like, no, this guy is being benched. He's been a bad teammate and we're not going to handle it here. Let me tell you something. That's what a World Series caliber operation looks like, is you hold your young studs accountable. You hold them accountable to the way they play. Gleyber Torres should have been benched about 400 times over the last 3 seasons, and nothing has ever happened, and he's not the only guy. There's been many times where I said, man, I can't wait to the day Boone snaps and goes, you and you off the field in the middle of a game. And I'm like, at some point, they want to say, that doesn't happen. But at some point, you gotta let yourself be known that this is not how we do it. And they're just letting it happen. And that's it. And it's never going to change that way.
Let's see. Great comment from Alex Valerio. Says, don't understand what Jeter meant when he says, don't boo Hal. It's not like he was joining the front office. I tell you what, we've said this many times. I would love to have Jeter back. Like, in any capacity, I think he would be a phenomenal just influence. I want, back in the 90s, and we've talked about this before, they used to bring in the Randolphs and the Guidrys and the guys from the championship teams. Where's all the 90s? They're in the booth. What are you going to do from the booth?
They're being wasted.
Exactly.
I mean, in reality, they are being wasted. Those teams were hard as nails. And don't get me wrong, look at George Steinbrenner. I watched the documentary on him today. I just left it on while I was working. And he said it. He's right. He goes, look, I don't know if all those guys down there like me, but I know they respect me.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they are going to play under me the way I need them to play. And am I hard on them? Yes, I am. But they all know that if they need something, I'm the first person they'll call and I'll be there. That's a beautiful thing. I'm not there to marry you. But when you come to play for the New York Yankees, we're going to hold you accountable to how you play baseball. And if the manager isn't doing it, then guess who has to? The owner.
Yep.
And if you can't handle that job, you got to go. And that is the problem with this team right now. And that's the reason, people go, Pete, I don't hate Boone. I hate the way he manages this club because I want to see him be successful. Absolutely. I want to see them win with Boone. But I can't listen to his comments anymore. And people go, Pete, what do you want him to say? You don't got to trash Josh Donaldson. You can simply go, guys, look, these are veteran ball players. They know how to play the game. But when a veteran does that, we know that should not happen. Mm-hmm. And we'll be discussing that later. But that play shouldn't happen, and we all know that. You're not bashing nobody.
That negative dude says IKF should have been benched for walking off the field. So IKF had a tough night. We saw the thing in center field. Tough. And then I don't know what, that's just a brainworms incident right there. I mean, how do you not look at the umpire for the call? That's why they have signals. I mean, you can't listen for it. You're in a stadium full of screaming people. You probably got the Rangers players saying, "Oh yeah, you're out."
Have you ever seen that before?
What's that?
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that happen. No.
First base, every now and then you might see him not turn the right way and they'll tag him out. But I have never seen a guy get into second base, be literally called safe, and then just walk away to the dugout. And even the Rangers hesitated. They're like, "What the hell? Oh, let me tag him." And I go, "He's out." What the hell happened? I'm like, we're starting to see things that you just never see in baseball with these Yankees. It's amazing. Yeah. It's really amazing.
I've seen the hidden ball trick a few times. That's always that's the most embarrassing thing for a runner. It's like I got deked by an elementary school kind of play.
Konerko used to do that for the White Sox every now and then. He got a few people with that.
He's another guy who had no legs. He couldn't run at all. And maybe that's what Stanton needs. Maybe he needs to play first base, but not going to play first base with the Yankees.
No, not at all, man. I mean, I really wish I could sit here and honestly just figure out what the route for this team is. And I think we have it under. The first thing you got to do is you just got to dump JD. It's done. When I had Eric Kratz on, people were going at him in the chat because he said the Yankees are going to give him 150 plus ABs. And I had to go, wait a second, Kraz. What would you do? And he was like, I'd release him right now.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make him like, guys, I think he's talking about what the Yankees would do. And he's right. That's what the Yankees are doing.
Right.
And in reality, the right move is to let him go. I don't think any fan here would be like, hey, look, they're going to go with IKF at third base for a week until Peraza is back in the lineup daily and he gets a few at-bats and they're going to call him up. Nobody here would be upset. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that is the way that this team is being run, that they are waiting for some of these guys to just turn it around. And it's like, doesn't matter if it's almost July. Who cares?
Mike Giramita says, I hear you, Pete, but as a kid, I hated George interfering with the team. And in my opinion, it never got better until he was forced to back out. He was suspended for a while. So Mike does bring up a good point, but when he came back, it's like he learned to listen to the right people and he surrounded himself with the right people and trusted those people. I still don't think that bringing in Brian Cashman and leaving him there forever was the best move, but it ultimately came down to he didn't want to trade Jeter. He finally decided to listen to, some of the scouts that trusted these younger players. I wish that we would trust some of these younger guys like Peraza, I would rather see somebody like Chaparro take at bats than Stanton right now. I mean,
100%.
Awful.
100%. And look, that's the only way they're going to get better. And the other thing, too, that I always bring up about George Steinbrenner, because I know a lot of people tend to say that, well, he was out of the picture and they got better. Well, who hired those guys?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand he may not have listened to them all the time early on, but he hired them. He put the right people where they were supposed to be. And on top of that, people forget this. He also created a shit ton of jobs in the minor leagues that were never there before.
Yep. Raleigh says, on a positive note, I'm really a fan of IKF, gives us 110%. Look, IKF's a good little spark plug. Should not be starting in center field.
He's not going to change this team. We know that.
No, he's a complimentary player. The Yankees, I would take a couple of more of them. But the fact that they're running JD out there, the fact that they're, continuing to watch Stanton circle the drain like this, I don't know what you can do with Stanton. You're not going to release him and eat $100 million.
Yeah,
and I even have to be patient with, but he's done.
I even hear people tell me all the time, they're like, well, how do we, get rid of him? I'm like, I don't think you do, because at the end of the day, we're looking at it also, but you don't think other teams see it and go, why would we trade for this guy? Why would we want him for? What's the point? There's no reason. So Stanton's one of those guys where, unfortunately, you really probably, if this doesn't change and he doesn't get better, you probably got to sit down and go, hey, he might be one of those every now and then guys that he's just not in that lineup every day, because it does hurt the Yankees. Because Derek, you're right. Chaparro could be taking at bats right now.
Yeah.
Chaparro could be doing that. Maybe you put somebody else there. Maybe Austin Wells would be up already. Maybe the Yankees would go, this kid's a major league hitter. Let's get him behind the plate every now and then and LDH.
It is worth noting that Austin Wells was complimented highly by Rodon, and he would know.
Was.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He said, hey, look, this kid calls a good game. He catches back there. Yep.
He homered today, another home run.
We've got to do something, man. You want to do the sign off dance with me? Let's do the sign off dance.
Come on. I like dancing anyway.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Oh, I'm gone.
I gotta get out of here.
Where'd Pete go?
I'm right here.
Oh, wait, I hear you.
I'm right here.
Disappeared.
You gotta go.
He disappeared. What the hell? Hang on.
I don't know what you did to me here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there I am. I was so excited about the dance.
Oh, man. Well,
Once I started dancing, you just kicked me out of here.
I know. I think I might have. I think I might have hit a button with my
You know what it is,
there.
folks? He thought I was Josh Donaldson for a second. He was like, all right, get out of here.
And I just released him. We'll figure this out. Something happened, but we got your logo right on top of it. So I'm gonna figure this out real quick, because the only time that we can figure this out is when you got somebody on. So let me just figure this out. So this is just part of the joy of doing a live show, folks. Like sometimes you just
happens.
You hit weird buttons and stuff.
At least my guy Joe Higashi right there. He's like, man, we lost Pete. What happened? I know. I was dancing and everything.
All right, we'll figure it out tomorrow. I'll have to test it out. But appreciate it, Pete. I'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, no problem, guys.
Ball game over. Thanks, man.
All right, no problem.
most impressive.